and welcome to yet another episode of the Virtuous Woman Show. My name is Sheila Juma, and I'm so delighted once again to be hosting you for this evening's show. This is a very interesting one, but before we do get started, I'd like to encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms. We are the Virtuous Woman Show on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of our uploads. We normally upload, so if you have missed any of our previous episodes, you can find it right there on YouTube under the Virtuous Woman Show channel. Go ahead and interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a show topic that you'd love to hear from us, we'd like to hear that from you, so that we can tackle anything that you'd like for us to tackle. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can also go ahead and interact with us on our social media platforms. Once again, karibu sana. We will be talking about children and gadgets. This is a very important topic in our day and age because very many children are engrossed, is that the right word, into gadgets. And instead of interacting with other children or playing, very many are in their rooms with their PlayStations, their tablets, with their phones. So we want to delve into this topic to find out how young is too young and how old is the right age for a child to have a gadget of any kind. And to discuss this with me, we have on set a man of God. His name is Teacher Moses.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We are expectant to hear and to learn. Personally, I know I am. So yeah. Karibu sana. Maybe you can introduce yourself. That's your camera.
Right.
Let us know who you are and what you do.
Formerly known as Teacher Moses. Professionally, I'm a psychologist. I deal with young people. And I work with the different institutions in this country. And guiding them and giving the right direction to the young people. Yes.
Okay, you're
right.
Counseling, you're guidance counselor.
Yes.
Okay, you work with young people.
I work with them
primarily in schools or?
Primary from class 8 all towards the university. I have classes with them in different institutions in this country. Okay. Yes.
So you're the perfect person to talk about this topic today.
Personally, I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
So I remember growing up, personally, I thank God I had a really good childhood. You know, I would play outside. I have very good memories of my childhood. But these days, children are it's a very different setting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Very many children are, into gadgets on their phones. Unaweza pata an 8-year-old with their iPhone 15, the latest one.
Yeah, right.
Their tablet, their games, their PlayStation. What can you very briefly say about this topic today?
Anytime I see young people with these gadgets, I see danger ahead. I see danger in terms of health, I see danger in terms of socializing, and even future relationship that they will have. Yes, it's a dangerous thing if you don't take care of it, if you don't talk about it, if you don't discuss about it, and if you don't have the direction to give them. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's so timely. Every parent today, as a counselor, every parent is talking about it, every teacher is talking about it. They are sneaking phones in the schools. However strict the schools are, you'll find them with the phones, SIM cards, they have it. Yeah. It has become part of their life. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned something, you said that it would affect their future relationships.
Yes.
And even I think their current relationships. Yes. Does that mean gadgets can have an effect on your mind?
Right.
On your social behavior on please talk about that.
Yes, because the moment, one, you have to know that these gadgets are very addictive. Someone wants his own space. And the moment you have this gadget with you, you feel that now you're okay. So actually sometimes it even affects how you communicate with other people. Because you are glued to this thing, this is your lifestyle. And the moment it happens that way, you find that yourself, sometimes you become an introvert. You don't want to talk with other people. Just want to be alone. You don't want to be pushed. You think that people are coming to your space. And that's how even today parents do not have relationship with their children because they want to have this gadget alone. And even it affects academics because the brain is being used. Yeah. You don't grow. Yeah. Actually, you don't grow. You don't grow. You only grow physically, but mentally you're not growing. Yeah.
Now, there are very many parents who would say that they're using the gadgets for educational purposes. There's a lot of content on YouTube and online, especially in this day and age. Online can be very educative.
Yes.
Where do you find that balance?
That's where we have a thin line. When you know that the child is using it for academic purposes, when you know that the child is doing it for his own issues. Yes. And I think the whole thing goes to the orientation. How did you orientate this child to these gadgets? how did they come to know about these gadgets? Because right now the schools are using, they are sending the assignment to through the phones.
Yes.
You cannot run away from it.
Especially during COVID, when now schools went online.
Even right now, you can't run away from these gadgets. But now the thin line is now this: how do you make use of it in a very positive way, other than destroying our mind?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying the whole thing goes back to the orientation.
Yeah.
How did you orientate this child to these gadgets?
Okay, before we get to orientation, what age is there an age you can think
We
of?
can't say there's no definite age, because there is what we call understanding the cognitive development of a child.
Yeah.
You have to understand. Some children will take a long time, others will take a short time when the mind is growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the moment you introduce these gadgets when the mind is not fully grown, you are destroying this child.
True.
Yeah.
True.
You are destroying this child. So it depends with the cognitive development of a child's mind.
Okay.
And you have to understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now when it comes to orientating a child, what kind of things would you do?
Maybe what are people doing wrongly?
Okay, what are people doing wrongly?
What are people doing wrongly, and yet now they come with, they are bringing their children to the counseling after they have introduced this poison to their children.
Yeah.
Hata sasa kuna wazazi wanalea watoto wao na simu.
Yeah.
They give the child phone wacheze nayo na kumwekea music. Well, that's how they are orientating the children.
Yeah.
The phone. Na by doing so, this child is not growing.
The child is using the phone or the gadget as a pacifier.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, zamani kulikuwa na madoli. Wanacheza na doli. Sasa unampatia simu akae nayo. Unamwekea music na anaguzaguza hizo buttons, anasikia different sound, different pictures. And this child, the moment you do that, the moment you go through that direction, you are in for it.
Yeah.
I can tell you for sure. Because this child, you need to bring it as a piecemeal.
Yeah.
Slowly by slowly.
Okay.
Gradually.
Okay.
Yes. And you know what happened with this gadget when they were brought to our country and they came to us, we are never given a class to do orientation how to use them. So anybody can use these gadgets in holding. And the fear is this: they fear the children. They fear the children. The generation that will have in future will have a problem.
Wow.
Mtaka konyo muongeleshani. Stime kizima mtu anaangalia na tu, because this is the thing that is now, this is your life.
That's the entertainment.
This is now your life. So people are not talking, children are not talking. Even speeches, making speeches today is becoming a problem. Even writing is a problem today because these gadgets are doing everything for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to have an understanding how to introduce this to these young boys and girls, as young as they are. Yeah. And even if you don't orientate them, they are going to get oriented somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. So the parent has to take the opportunity first.
Yes. To make sure that they have the right view of gadgets.
You're right.
Yeah, because I think I've seen very many times where a young 2-year-old or 3-year-old is even in church, having a tantrum, and the only thing that will pacify them is a phone.
I'm telling you, psychologically it's a mess.
Yeah.
Particularly the rich now, the teenagers now, adolescents. That's the time you'll see the impact of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you can list for us some things. Okay, you've mentioned that you can become an introvert, you want to enclose yourself, retract yourself, the only thing that you want to do is be on your gadget. What are some of the effects of introducing gadgets wrongly?
One, you not have control to remove from them.
Yes.
It will make tension in the family.
Yes, true.
It will bring enemies in the family. Because this is their lifestyle now. How do you remove a phone from a child who have been using this phone for a long period of time and is addicted to it? Now you want to withdraw it from him. It's going to bring attention in the family. And the moment it goes that direction, because of the anger management, some now will decide to go for drugs and other issues. Just as a punishment to the parent. So umechukua simu. So umechukua simu. Can I tell you today that we have got many children who do not have phones but they have got SIM cards?
Yeah, they just go find a phone somewhere.
They are still communicating with the world.
Yeah.
So I think when you do it in the wrong direction, when you introduce it in the wrong way, you are going to have some consequences as a parent and also as a child. You're also going to suffer.
Yes. Let us know.
One, the child for to it being introvert. Some others are going to have what we call attitude. Unaona ile attitude ni mbaya. Unaweza kuwa unamwambia oshe vyombo anakuangalia na sura nyingine ana make face na wewe. He was in the phone, he was in this gadget. You are coming, you are introducing, you are doing this introduction to introducing to someone's life. Unaingia kwa maisha ya mtu. It's an offense to that child. So kutakuwa na attitude, anger management, time management. He will not be able to have his own time. He cannot control his time. So all these things will result us to be rebellion. Kutakuwa rebellious sasa. Sasa anakuwa mtu ambaye enemy itaingia kwa familia. Academic itaenda chini. Actually, those who are performing poorly today, this is one of them. These gadgets. So performance, after failing the exam, frustration will come, depression, suicide. It goes.
There's a question I want to ask you about the kind of content that is online and how to protect our children from that. But before we get to that, you talked about, you know, it can cause conflict, especially when it comes to a teenager taking away their phone. How do you mitigate that? Because you can imagine, I remember, okay, I got my first phone maybe when I was 13. I was not addicted, thankfully. My parents managed it well. But I remember feeling like if they took it away, feeling, now what are they doing? Now these people. But it never got to the point of conflict with them. But I'm sure there are very many children
there are so many.
That it gets to conflict. How does a parent handle that?
First, you have to understand this child. Una mtoto wako, unafaa mjue. Na because now you weigh between aukasirikie na umsaidie. Unajua unasema utaki kumkasirisha na pote. So sometimes these young people, you know, they have got this what we call mood swings. So sometimes you have to take in charge, and then you have to be wise when dealing with these young people, because today these young people, they are outbursting. One of the way of outbursting, we go for suicide. How many young boys and girls are committing suicide because of these gadgets? So the parent has to become friendly. You have to create harmoniously. You have to become harmoniously. You create that in that family. Some parents will go even rewarding. Ujatumia simu sa lunch time na sa kulala ana motivate. And you do some motivation because these are your child. Anaanza potea. So you come with the rules. That hii rule ujengi peke yako, mnajenga mkiwa na hao pamoja. They also understand. We are doing for their own benefit. For instance, we can come and say when you're having lunch, no more phones. Wengine nimeenda kwa familia zingine wanasema muda kenda kulala, you put your phone in a basket. So you have to, and these rules should be made in akihusishwa. Usikuja na sheria zako kwa bedroom unamletea, nyinyi wote muongee na yeye. Ndivyo akifanya makosa unamwambia si tulikaa chini na tukaongea kuhusu maneno. I think that's the way. Today we are not talking about corporal punishment. We are talking about now consensus. Tusikizane and tuelewane.
I like that. That you should come together with your children as a family. Talk about, okay, I'm giving you a gadget, but this is what these are the rules. Set down the rules together. So that akipotea akifanya kitu mbaya anajua. That's true.
You should have that data.
I remember growing up, there was a rule in our house where there was no TV in the morning. The whole morning. Find something to do. If you want to watch TV, maybe in the afternoon we can talk about it. But in the morning, as soon as TV sikwe kitu ya kwanza unakimbilia, you know, talk about TV.
TV na maneno. I was talking to another parent during the time of The Bold and the Beautiful. Remember that program?
Yes.
And the children used to glue that in wanakosa moja na nusu there on TV. So this parent decided to do now this class 3 child. Akaona the only way to make sure that this child mtoto aone TV. Ilipoanza tu hivyo Bold and the Beautiful kianza amezima TV, do your homework.
So hold it right there. We're going to take a short break. Don't forget where you are. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back with this story about kids and gadgets. We'll be right back.